So the Christmas season is upon us, and in this video I'll share some gear that I think would make fantastic gifts for any podcaster. So if you're looking for some gear to add to your wish list, stick around, I might have just the thing.
This is the place for podcasters.
Hey everybody, Brian here from Summit City Studios and from Good Podcasting. So we're doing kind of a joint episode. Today I want to share some gear that would make great gifts for any podcaster. So if you're looking to add something to your wish list this Christmas, or maybe you're just poking around looking for some ideas to buy for that podcaster in your life, you're in the right place. First, let's talk about microphones. There's three that I want to share with you today. And disclaimer, let me tell you right up front, I've not tested these microphones. I'm excited to try these microphones in the new year, but I've not officially tested these microphones. This is not an official review, but it's three new microphones that are really intriguing to me that I think the podcaster in your life would love. Maybe that's even you. The first is the Rode XDM100. It is a new dynamic USB microphone. It looks very similar to the Rode Procaster. But again, it's a USB mic. It's got a USB-C plug-in at the bottom. It's got a headphone jack on the side and the volume control knob. So you can listen with zero latency into your headphones. Now, this thing, it has a beautiful look, beautiful design. As I mentioned, it looks very similar to the Rode Procaster. And if the sound quality is anywhere close to the sound quality of the Rode Procaster, you can't go wrong with this microphone. The Rode XDM100 dynamic USB microphone retails for $249. I'll have a link to this microphone and all the rest of the gear and miscellaneous equipment that I share in this episode in the episode description here on YouTube and in the episode description on the podcast platform that you happen to be listening on right now. Now, the second mic I want to share with you is the Beacn Mic. It's also a dynamic USB microphone. This one has a very similar form factor to the Shure SM7B, which if you know that microphone, you know that's kind of the standard. People love that look, people love the sound. But the unique thing about the Beacn Mic is that it's not only a dynamic USB microphone, but it has incredible processing power. And it's all the processing that happens within this microphone you can control from your laptop with the Beacn app that comes with it. You can download and install directly on your computer, so you can control all the processing from your laptop, but the processing happens inside the microphone. Some people love it, some people don't so much love the processing power, but I think it's really a personal preference and what you like as you mix your sound, but you do have some control over EQ, over compression, the limiter, and all of that that's built into this microphone. Now, this microphone retails right now for $279. And again, I'll post a link to this microphone below. Now, the one that I'm most excited about is a brand new microphone. It's been available for just a couple of months, since September of 2022, and it's the blue Sona microphone. This, unlike the other two that I shared, is an XLR microphone, so no USB cables here. This is a legitimate XLR microphone that you will need to plug into a USB interface to get the signal into your computer. But here's why I'm so excited about this microphone. It has a built-in 25 decibel boost, which negates the need for any additional equipment that the Shure SM7B needs, like the Cloud Lifter or the FET head. So if you already have a USB interface and an XLR cable, this microphone is plug and play and it sounds great. So check out the blue Sona. This one retails right now for $349. So it is the most expensive of the three mics that I shared, but even that price point is $50 less than the standard Shure SM7B. So check out the blue Sona XLR dynamic broadcast microphone. So those are three fantastic microphones that you can add to your wish list this Christmas. But now I want to turn your attention to another piece of equipment, and that's the USB interface that you're going to need to take your XLR signal from an XLR microphone into the USB port on your computer. So if you have an XLR mic or you're looking at an XLR mic like the blue Sona that I just talked about, you're going to need one of these interfaces. Now, there's three of them that I want to share. The first is the Zoom PodTrak. There's two versions of the Zoom PodTrak. There's the P4 and the P8, which the number just indicates the number of input signals that each piece of equipment can handle. And those inputs range from USB to XLR to TRRS, making the Zoom PodTrak P4 and P8, great interfaces for podcasters who do remote interviews. So you can take a phone signal in, you can bring in a USB signal from your computer and record that way and hear your guests remotely just fine. But they also make fantastic interfaces and mixers for live interviews as well. One of the reasons I love the PodTrak for both of these instances is because they have separate channels for monitoring each microphone and separate headphone outputs so that you and your guests and co-hosts all can have their own set of headphones and adjust the volume to their own personal preference. So check out the Zoom PodTrak P4 or P8. The second interface I have to share with you today is the Focusrite Vocaster. Now there's two versions of the Vocaster. There's the Vocaster 1 and the Vocaster 2. The one has one XLR input. The Vocaster 2, as you can guess, has two XLR inputs. Now there's a very simple control system. There's one knob to control each. It's very sleek. It's got a nice form factor. It's very small. It's a very simple design that looks very cool, that can sit right on the corner of your desk and you never have to move it. But if you do have to move it, it's small enough you can throw it in a backpack and take it with you for your remote podcast interviews. The cool thing about the Vocaster is that it has built-in presets to bring out the best in each voice with just the press of a button. So check out the Focusrite Vocaster 1 and Vocaster 2. And the third interface I'll share with you today is the Rodecaster Pro II. Now, if you're familiar with the Rodecaster Pro, you know it's a fantastic all-in-one podcast studio, and the 2 is no different, but it's much more than just a repackaged version of the original. The Rodecaster Pro II unlocks additional functionality. It brings to the table two USB interfaces as opposed to just the one on the original. It has four XLR inputs, but it opens up to 9 channels in this one board that comes in a smaller form factor than the original. The Rodecaster Pro II is customizable even down to the color of the RGB lights that can be programmed to match the ambiance in your home studio. Now, the Rodecaster Pro does retail for a little bit more than the original Rodecaster Pro, but it does mean if you still like the original, those prices have come way down from where they started. I'll have links to the Rodecaster Pro, the original Rodecaster, and all the other mixers and interfaces that I just mentioned in the episode description below. So we've talked about microphones, we've talked about interfaces. Now I just want to share 3 additional ideas, kind of miscellaneous ideas that are valuable to any podcaster, but you may not, if you're not into podcasting, if you don't do it yourself, you may not think about these things being necessary or even good gifts for someone who is into podcasting. The first thing to consider is a plug-in package for that podcaster's digital audio workstation. Now, those may be very foreign terms to you, and you may have no idea what those mean, but simply put, the digital audio workstation, or DAW for short, DAW for short, is where us podcasters record into, and that's where we do all of our editing and mixing of our sound, so it sounds great once we publish it. I'm sure they would appreciate having some additional plugins to edit their podcasts in the new year. The second miscellaneous idea I have on my list is a 1-year paid subscription to that podcaster's media host site. Something like Buzzsprout, Podbean, Libsyn. There are hundreds of them out there at this point, and more are being added every day. Some of those host sites are free, but some of them are paid. The paid ones give you better statistics, better idea of who's listening, things that are really valuable to podcast hosts. So if you're looking to really surprise that podcaster in your life, consider purchasing a 1-year subscription to their media host site. And the last thing I have on my miscellaneous gift list for podcasters, that's a tongue twister, miscellaneous gift list for podcasters. I think I said that right. And the last thing on my miscellaneous gift list for podcasters is to pay for an online course. You see, there's all sorts of resources out there that we can turn to, channels like mine here on Summit City Studios, podcasts out there like How to Podcast, and like mine, Good Podcasting, that offer free resources, free ideas to help podcasters get started. But there's so much more depth that we can get into by attending an online podcasting course. If you're looking for ideas and recommendations, please hit me up, send me a note in the comments. If you're listening to Good Podcasting and there's not a place to put a comment, bump on over to Summit City Studios here on YouTube or on my website where I posted all these blogs, these gift ideas for podcasters. Leave me a comment there, ask a question. I'll be sure to get back with you with some recommendations on some great host sites, some great online courses, and some great plugin packages, and maybe even a few additional mics. So there you have it, my gear guide for the holidays 2022. If you liked what you saw, if you found value in this content, and maybe even a piece of equipment that you want to add to your Christmas wish list, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, if you're just listening on Good Podcasting, as soon as you park that car, as soon as you finish with your workout, pop on over, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you are notified anytime I release a new video. And if you are listening on Good Podcasting, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to that podcast, follow the podcast, and share it with all of your podcaster friends. I'll see you in the next video or talk to you in the next episode.